evening, I'm Byron Brown, and welcome to Honoring Black History, Mind, Body, Soul. We are coming to you from the two Mississippi museums here in Jackson, where galleries tell the history about the Civil Rights era, and where stories are also told about people who helped shape our state. But for the next 30 minutes, we'll highlight stories about Black history that we hope will enlighten or perhaps inspire you. We begin tonight with a group of police officers and their invited guests from Tempe, Arizona, who traveled all the way to Jackson for an immersive experience in an attempt to gain a better understanding of the troubled and often brutal past between police and people of color in the South. There is no secret that the relationship between police officers and Black and brown communities in this country have been strained. After the death of George Floyd in 2020, the tension between police and minority communities grew even greater. But there are those who are working hard to try and change that. Several members of the Tempe, Arizona Police Department and their invited guests recently took a cultural enrichment trip through the South, which included 4 southern cities. Among them, New Orleans, Selma, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, where they toured the Legacy Museum and also made a stop right here in Jackson, Mississippi.
It's about learning. You know, all of this is about seeking to understand and really understand exactly what the culture and the history behind what has shaped our country. And for law enforcement, it's important to be able to understand and know that history, to be able to understand exactly the best way of policing people here in our prospective areas.
They visited New Horizon Church to listen and talk with church members about their concerns with policing in their community.
It's a good thing, and policing is a good thing. I have invested my life in.
Then it was back to the bus and off to the Civil Rights Museum to understand the state's history.
I think what I wanted to be able to take back to Arizona is the knowledge of having that history. There's such a rich history here in the South, and I think it's something that the officers, that what I want from our officers is to understand it and to be able to talk and have conversation throughout the police department about what they've experienced on this trip. Because it's something powerful, it's something that is meaningful, and I think that it's going to help us build relationships, and this is just the beginning, and it's going to stretch people in ways that they haven't been stretched and challenge them. But we need to do that in order to change the culture of law enforcement.
Michael Horn is a retired commander and helped organize this tour. Because he's done it several times before, and he, as well as supporters of the trip, believe it's insightful.
What's been so amazing is seeing these officers from Tempe, Arizona, lean into some difficult conversations, be vulnerable with each other, vulnerable with the people that we're meeting, and really processing a lot of these things at a deeper level, and seeing their reaction and how this week has gone so far. There's going to be more bumps in the road, but I am an eternal optimist that this is going to improve, and we have people like this law enforcement agency and some others that come through that lean into these conversations, build the relationships the right way, and I think we can make some changes.
For Tempe officer Ryan Cook, it's his first time ever in the South, and he definitely wants to see positive changes.
My deeper feeling is to make a change, to have a conversation that is not easy for individuals to have, and that is, we all want to be there to make a community better.
Cook says he wants to be an officer for a long time and is hopeful that police and minority communities can find common ground.
In my deepest heart, I know that our communities can come together. It's just going to take hard conversations like this. It's going to take moments of each individuals and cultures and religious groups to come to the table and have honest conversations, and then get back in our communities and share what we learn as we have those interactions.
We now take you to a piece of hidden Mississippi history, a town known as a sanctuary to African Americans during the Jim Crow era. 12 News' Anthony Howard sheds light on the history of Mound Bayou, deemed a jewel of the Delta by President Theodore Roosevelt.
Driving through Mound Bayou today is hard to believe this is one of the country's first and largest African-American towns in a segregated America, founded by 2 cousins born into slavery.
It's way too important for us to let another generation go and not tell the story about Mound Bayou. When there was segregation in this country, black people needed somewhere to go. And Mound Bayou was that place in the South.
I'm so excited to get in 7th grade to go to my Mississippi history class. They gave us a book. I had to go find in the index that it said something about Mound Bayou, that it was one sentence. Nobody wanted to tell our story.
In the late 1800s, after Union troops invaded North Mississippi and freed slaves in the area, Isaiah T. Montgomery and his cousin, Benjamin T. Green, developed unoccupied swampland, turning it to a thriving black governed industrial town.
This was one of the first places in the country that black people took the shovel out of the ground for white prosperity and put the shovel in the ground for black prosperity. And so, to me, that's sacred. That says that's a place where we should all understand that this is ours.
We didn't bow to them. We didn't have to pull our hats off, not out of respect for your race. We would pull them off respect for ourselves. And that was different.
Brothers Herman and Darrell Johnson established the Mound Bayou Museum in July 2021 to preserve the history of the prolific town. There are currently 3 sections. One section shows images and documents from the town during its prime. The second section illustrates a racist time eluded by the people of Mound Bayou.
This was a donation from Dr. Alvin Simpson, who was a professor down at Alcorn University, and mostly depicts dehumanizing the nature of the social media at that time. During those years was postcards, pictures, things that people sent to one another, and they would have them displayed in their home that dehumanizing black people.
The final section of the museum features its newest exhibit, props from the limited series Women of the Movement, the story of Mamie Till's fight for justice after the murder of her son.
There are only 2 other places in the country that have this set here, and so that's a prominent movie. It puts Mound Bayou on another level. It puts Mississippi on another level, and it's attractive for people to come here, and actually it gets people in the door where they can also see the Mound Bayou story.
Before leaving the museum, Director Herman Johnson told me how the people of Mound Bayou avoided the horrific fate of other successful black towns like Tulsa, Oklahoma.
These white men came in to ravage the town. They came in and these guys were ready for them. They had ready for them on these rooftops, and they had a Gatling gun on top of the bank building over there. And they let that Gatling gun go. And once these people heard that Gatling gun, they got out of Dodge, and they never came back.
Waiting for the tide to take it home once more.
Still ahead, how hair salons and barbershops are more than a place to get the latest styles or fresh cuts. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. For many years, hair salons and barbershops have been sort of a refuge, if you will, in communities across the country. As our Leah Williams reports, for people of color, going to those establishments is oftentimes much more than a place to get the latest fresh cut or styles.
Hair is an important characteristic of identity for many black women.
That's you. It helps with your self-esteem. It builds your confidence.
But the complexities of textured hair and how to properly care for it is something that's often left out of the curriculum at cosmetology schools.
I had to go to cosmetology school because I needed to know the foundation, the basics of doing hair. When I realized that I needed continuing education, I would do research and I would look on social media and look at other stylists that would offer different type of classes.
Hairstylists I talked to say their passion for doing hair started at an early age.
As a kid, I have burnt marks on my legs from playing in my little sister's hair.
My aunt used to always call me Lucy Seaberry to come over and to do her hair every Saturday for church for Sunday. She would ask me every week, so it ended up just being a love. That's where the love of hair came from.
And the sense of pride when it comes to hair and styling does not stop with just women. Many black men visit their barbers several times a month, getting a boost of confidence every time they get out the chair.
When you look good, when you feel good, you look good, you do good.
And because they visit so often, barbers tend to develop a close bond with their clients.
In 35 years, I've seen the kids grow up. I've seen some become professional, and I've also seen some that fell by the wayside. And over the years, I had to try to find a way to mentor the kids.
When you have a good barber, it's like a family member to you. You know, when you have a barber for so long, like my guy Justin here and his son, I call him my nephew. We've been together for a good little minute.
Hair salons and barbershops often serve as a safe space for clients to open up about everything from current events to their daily lives without feeling judged.
I feel like if your barber can't talk to you, you might need to come to the barber lounge and see what's up, you know. You never realize how bad a person needs to have a conversation with somebody.
We got a lot of different titles. We have to be your confidant, your friend, give you advice, your therapist. So hairstylists do take on a lot.
People come in with issues. I have had people come in and say they want to kill people. So one of my things is when I get an opportunity to feel your heart, I have to try to talk to people.
When it comes to Black men and women, hair is deeper than just a physical trait, and the experience that comes with getting haircuts and styles is something that sticks with many from childhood throughout their lives.
Coming up next, some of the artists who helped shape Mississippi's Motown. Welcome back to Honoring Black History, Mind, Body, Soul. We're coming to you tonight from the two Mississippi museums here in Jackson. Music has long been a source of healing for many people, and some of the most popular songs ever written have their roots right here in Mississippi. Here's 12 News' Kayla Thompson with the story behind Malaco Records and its global impact on music.
Hello, sugar dumplings. Let me tell you something. That's the first song. That's when I found out about Malaco, which was called Chimneyville Records.
I didn't know that Malaco had a soul and blues side. I knew about them from like around 1975, with the gospel division. When I later found out that they were doing blues, that they had like Johnny Taylor, Denise LaSalle, Shirley Brown, all these people, I was offended because I was a gospel guy. And I was like, oh, they down there mixing salt with sugar.
But no matter what genre, it's obvious that Malaco had the recipe, the visionaries, and the sounds to make hit records.
That's tough. And every time I hit it, I laugh. The whole place will laugh. And that's how we got that. They had just got those drums.
Ring My Bell is a song that many say took Malaco Records to the next level. It quickly became a favorite in clubs all over the world.
The whole place went crazy. They stopped counting Ring My Bell at 10 million. They stopped counting.
That song has been in 14 movies, several commercials, and I had a commercial with Walmart, and my God, that was a huge commercial. Very, very, very great. But I definitely don't care if somebody says, well, that's a one-hit wonder, because I've done very well because of that song.
Songs created under the Malaco umbrella still play at parties today. And when it comes to blues, you can't go without these two staples.
She said your party's jumping, and everybody's having a good time. And you know what's going through my mind. A lady at the casino, she lost all her money.
Malaco played a big part in music, period. Not just gospel. See, I also remember when she started asking about where you been. That's Johnny Taylor, in case you didn't know. I also remember I'm running out of lies about Johnny Taylor. See, Malaco, you just can't pin them to gospel.
But in the gospel arena, Malaco was not to be played with.
Malaco was my Motown, gospel music Motown for me, because in North Carolina, which is where I'm from, when I was hearing that music, and it was just like, oh my God, I got to get down there. I got to see what's happening down there.
From the 70s.
Oh God, you've been smiling on
the 80s. 90s. and even today.
Malaco will never, honestly, will never die. As long as they have that catalog, it's gonna they'll keep living forever.
They're survivors. They survived pandemics, tornadoes, people that left them. They survived all of it. The ups and downs of both musics. They build music up and they stayed there while music was down. And they still open. I think we're in Malaco now. I think we're in the studio. They still here.
50 plus years of music history right here in Jackson, Mississippi. And if you don't believe it, go see for yourself. In Jackson, Kayla Thompson, 12 News.
Still to come, how the success of JSU's football program scored big off the playing field. An estimated $30 million worth of economic impact is being attributed by Visit Jackson to the success of the JSU football team. It certainly was a memorable season for the SWAC champions, who hit the Metro like a sonic boom. As JSU's Sonic Boom marching band performed for Jackson City officials, that excitement spilled over from the football field, where frenzied fans cheered on the Tigers, who would become SWAC champions for the first time since 2007.
This is just the best ever. It's been a long time coming.
The passion was undeniable, with head coach Deion Sanders and staff taking the squad to new heights. Is this bigger than just football, what he's doing?
Yes, it is. It definitely is. As far as getting the culture of our people, together.
But changing the culture of JSU started more than a year ago with the announcement of the hiring of Coach Prime.
Deion, Coach Prime Sanders.
That decision by JSU President Thomas Hudson and Athletic Director Ashley Robinson was a calculated move to get Tiger football back to its glory days.
Today, you gonna be who God called you to be. You gonna do what you've been called to do. You gonna talk like you talk, you gonna walk like you walk, you gonna ball like you ball. Why? Because it's time.
Coach Prime wanted to be at Jackson State University. He wanted to make change. He wanted to show people that it could be done at Jackson State University. And that's changed the mindset.
Changing the mindset, not just with the players, but the student body, the alumni, and eventually the capital city.
What Coach Prime has done is really awaken that sleeping giant, which is JSU football.
And the buy-in has been huge with record attendance.
The same day that we played Alabama State, Mississippi State played University of Alabama. We had 55,000, they had 53,000.
We are Jackson State University.
Positives that JSU says is just the beginning of their turnaround, and their fans cannot be more excited about the school's future.
So in the next 3 to 5 years, I see elevation, I see growth, higher enrollment. We're going to really transform the campus physical plan. We're going to do some different things around campus to help improve the safety of campus. Improvement within our residence halls, improvement within certain dining options and the like on the campus, helping to improve that student experience.
It's much bigger than Deion. It's much bigger than Jackson State. This is impacting everybody.
And that was the goal of A.D. Robinson, to make sure everyone knows about JSU and HBCUs.
My goal was, when you turn the TV on, you see Jackson State University. When you turn the radio on, you hear Jackson State University. When you open the newspaper, you see Jackson State University. And that was my goal when I came here in 2018. And I think we've done that now.
And earlier this month, there was a rally that JSU hosted at the state capitol in honor of their historic season.
You have not only helped the economic development of this city, you have created a sense of place that has allowed people from far and wide to come and see Jackson State University play.
That's all for Honoring Black History, Mind, Body, Soul. We hope you were inspired by what you heard. We also want to thank the staff here at the two Mississippi museums for having us. We hope you can take time and visit. There is certainly a lot of history being told here. Now, for our entire 12 News staff and production team, thank you for watching, and we hope you have a safe evening. Make it a good night.